Maria was a young woman from Spain who always dreamed of speaking English like a native. She had studied English in school, but whenever she spoke, people could tell she was not a native speaker. She wanted to sound more natural, so she started a journey to improve her English skills. Maria had always been passionate about languages, and English was her favorite. She admired how effortlessly native speakers spoke, using idioms and expressions that she struggled to understand. She wanted to sound fluent, confident, and natural, just like them. But she knew that it would not happen overnight. Learning a language required patience, effort, and the right strategies. Determined to succeed, she decided to follow a step-by-step approach to mastering English like a native speaker. Step 1. Listening like a native. Maria realized that to speak like a native, she first had to listen like a native. She began watching English movies, TV shows, and listening to English songs. She also started following English podcasts. Instead of just hearing the words, she focused on pronunciation, rhythm, and intonation. She noticed that native speakers connected their words smoothly and used contractions like I'm instead of I am. Step 2. Speaking with confidence. Maria knew that practice was the key to fluency. She joined an English-speaking club where she could talk with native speakers. At first, she was nervous, but she reminded herself that making mistakes was part of learning. She tried to copy the way native speakers spoke, paying attention to their accents and expressions. She also recorded herself speaking and compared it to native speakers. Over time, her pronunciation improved. Step 3. Improving pronunciation with tongue twisters. To make her pronunciation clearer, Maria practiced tongue twisters like she sells seashells by the seashore and red lorry, yellow lorry. This helped her train her tongue and improve her clarity in speaking. Step 4. Learning common expressions and slang. She soon realized that native speakers used many idioms and slang words that were not taught in textbooks. Phrases like break a leg and under the weather were confusing at first, but she made a habit of writing down new expressions and using them in her conversations. The more she practiced, the more natural she sounded. Step 5. Expanding vocabulary with synonyms. Maria wanted to sound more natural, so she started learning different ways to say the same thing. Instead of always saying happy, she learned words like joyful, cheerful, and delighted. This made her speech more interesting and varied. Step 6. Thinking in English. Maria noticed that she often translated sentences from Spanish to English before speaking, which made her slower. To solve this, she started thinking in English all the time. She described things around her in English, planned her day in English, and even dreamed in English. This helped her speak more fluently without hesitation. Step 7. Mastering sentence stress and rhythm. She observed that native speakers stressed certain words in a sentence. For example, in I really like this movie, the word really is stressed. She practiced stressing the right words to make her speech sound more natural. Step 8. Imitating native speakers. One of the best techniques Maria discovered was imitation. She chose a few native speakers from YouTube and copied their way of speaking. She repeated their sentences, copied their tone, and even practiced their body language. This made her speech sound more authentic. Step 9. Engaging in daily conversations. Maria started small conversations with shopkeepers, taxi drivers, and strangers who spoke English. This helped her build confidence and made English a part of her everyday life. Step 10. Getting feedback. Maria wanted to make sure she was improving, so she asked her English teacher for feedback. She also practiced with her English-speaking friends, who corrected her mistakes and gave her tips. She did not get discouraged by mistakes. Instead, she saw them as chances to learn. Step 11. Reading aloud every day. To improve her pronunciation and fluency, Maria started reading English books and news articles aloud. She paid attention to how words were stressed and how sentences flowed. Over time, her speech became clearer and more natural. Step 12. Understanding different accents. Maria realized that English was spoken differently in different places. British English, American English, Australian English, each had its own style. She exposed herself to different accents and tried to understand their differences. This made her more flexible in conversations with people from different backgrounds. Step 13. Watching English with subtitles first. At first, Maria watched English movies with subtitles in her native language. Then, she switched to English subtitles, and finally, she watched without subtitles at all. This helped her improve both listening and comprehension skills. Step 14. Speaking without fear. One day, Maria had a conversation with a native English speaker, and for the first time, she spoke without hesitation. She did not worry about her accent or small mistakes. She focused on expressing herself clearly and naturally. The native speaker complimented her on how well she spoke English. That moment made her feel confident and proud. Maria's journey to speaking English like a native was not easy, but she achieved her goal through listening, practicing, imitating, and thinking in English. She proved that with dedication and the right methods, anyone could improve their English and sound more natural. Speaking like a native was not just about pronunciation, it was about confidence, understanding culture, and enjoying the process of learning.